Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Discussing Tabletop. It is, of course, Saturday, June 20th, 2020. This is our, I think, 152nd show.
Yes.
Cool. I got the number right without having to reference it directly on my screen. Yay.
I also remember last week was 151, so.
Sweet. So yes, once again, joining me is my illustrious co-host, Joe.
Yup.
Now, the two of us are going to lead you through some tabletop news of the week. Now, if you are in with us in Twitch and chat, you can see our docket up. If not, our docket is the following for today. We're going to talk about Magic Jumpstart, their new kind of portal beginner set that's actually coming out, and a bunch of delays that are happening for Magic sets still from the virus. Then we're going to talk about Munchkin Tails, a new Munchkin game directly from Steve Jackson Games. Sheriff of Nottingham 2nd edition has been announced, along with a Frostpunk board game. So if you know the video game Frostpunk, there's a board game based on it. And finally, because it is technically both Steve Jackson Games and USAopoly, we're going to talk about a Munchkin Disney that USAopoly is producing with Steve Jackson Games. Because I think USAopoly has a lot more like the Disney rights, so I guess they're working in conjunction with them to produce it. And then we'll have our normal segments that we usually have: Deeper Discussion, Kickstarter Korner, Our Week in Tabletop, and finally Consult the Table.
Yeah, because even Munchkin Marvel was actually part USAopoly done.
See? Interesting things that you kind of don't think about. So, why don't we just start with the top-of-the-line stuff here, the fact that we got Munchkin Jumpstart. I think we talked about Jumpstart before on the channel here, on the show.
You mean Magic Jumpstart.
I'm sorry, Magic Jumpstart. We were talking about so much Munchkin.
Wait a minute.
We were talking about so much Munchkin, it got my Munchkin on the brain, you know?
You got Munchkin on your brain.
Brain of Munchkin. But no,
God,
you're right.
God, now you just made me think of one of the worst original Star Trek episodes.
Spock's
brain.
Yeah, it's very bad.
Brain and brain. What is brain?
It's very bad. So, of course, I mean, they've put out a gallery of a lot of stuff from Jumpstart. I do have to say there are some decent things here just from a quick look. I know, like, there's a couple of ones in here that are pretty decent for just being apparently basic. I mean, Linvala is always a classic, and it's in the set. That's kind of like Micaeus. I'm like, even if it's supposed to be like a beginner's set, like, I look at this and I say to myself, I actually might be interested in getting some stuff from this one. Because it's got some decent cards.
The funniest one, and it's more because of the artwork, is Release the Dogs. Because you have, like, 3 really vicious dogs and a freaking terrier. And it's like, one of these don't belong here.
Yeah, I think what it is because the card order. I think what they do is they show off what I would call new cards first, probably.
Yeah.
Because they have a couple of, like, new ones, and then a bunch of releases. Yeah, the released dog ones. Yeah, the little terrier in there is hilarious.
It's just like, I'm not as afraid of that one.
The trusty retriever, as this poofy dog in armor with, like, you know, with a sword in its mouth, I'm like, I'm bringing your sword, master!
There's a lot of dogs in this one.
Yeah, well, that's the big thing, is there hasn't been an actual dog creature type, which I didn't even know about until now.
Because now they have the one you just mentioned, the Release the Dogs, Supply Runners, Alpha Guardhound.
A couple other ones.
There's some cat soldiers.
Yeah. Like, they've got the legendary 2/2 dog for 1 white mana. Ismaru, Hound of Konda. Ismaru is not bad in, like, if you're doing for a swarm deck, but that's about it. Like,
Karthus Champion, that head does not fit on that dog.
Yeah, it's a very large head to a tiny dog.
Like, that's like really creepy.
Yeah, Yeah.
And I think you'd fall face forward.
But anyway.
Oh, there's also another Isamaru Hound of Kanda.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. The Hound
Oh,
of Kanda.
yeah, I'm sorry.
It's
yeah.
okay. So, I don't see mythics, actually, when I'm looking
No,
through.
I just see rares.
So I think that's one of the big things about it, is we're not seeing mythics in the set. Because, although there is one at least, there's a few. Because Tiny Bones, the Trinket Thief under
Oh,
black.
yeah, I just found Tiny Bones, yeah.
So there might be a couple of them, but not as many. But again, maybe the set's not as big, too. It's hard to tell what, like, the actual size of everything is. And again,
and there's Mythic Sorcery, Immoloding Gyre.
Apparently they do have, they have a couple. Okay, so they do have mythics. I just don't know how many. And I don't know if it's the full set thing right now. There might not be fully spoiled anyway.
Right.
That's the other thing, is we don't know.
I'm like, there's mythics in red and black. Oh, there's one in green.
I didn't see one in blue, or unless I missed it when it was
I didn't see it in blue, and I didn't see it in white.
Allosaurus Shepherd.
Oh, there's two in green. There's also Towering Titan.
Yeah, so they're probably going to get a couple normal amount. We just didn't notice them right away. And Caterhoof Behemoth is in there, too.
Yeah.
The Caterhoof's
green has
good.
a lot.
I don't know.
Compared to the other ones so far. Oh, and there's another one, Primeval Bounty. Whenever you cast a creature spell, create a 3/3 green beast creature token. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put 3+1/+1 counters on target creature you control. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, gain 3 life.
They're reprinting the Maelstrom Angel. The 5-mana angel, when it deals combat damage to a player, you play a spell without playing its mana cost.
But that Primeval Bounty is gross.
There's some really gross mythic greens, though, so I can't, like...
Yeah, I'm not saying it's, horrible. It's just like...
If you get it out, it's powerful.
Yeah, because you can create 3/3 creatures when you play a creature. When you play a non-creature, you get 3+1/+1 counters on a creature. Or when you play a land, you get 3 life.
Yep. Oh, Rupture Spire is getting reprinted.
Oh god, they have another cat monkey.
It's probably the same cat monkey.
Scrounging Bandar.
It's probably the same cat monkey.
Cat
monkey. We remember the cat monkeys. No, it actually might be a different cat monkey.
No, I think it is a different one. Hey, with the cat monkey.
Oh, there's 3 Kaladesh sets, and I don't know if we knew all the cat monkeys from Kaladesh. There was the cat snake from Amonkhet that I remember.
I just think there needs to be more cat monkeys, and I want to make a cat monkey deck.
Good for you.
Just because it's weird.
So, let me see if I can find Jumpstart's original release. Because I'm curious about when it was originally planning to be released. Apparently, I think... June 26th it was originally intended to be released. So it would have been this week.
Yeah.
And it's been pushed to the 17th of July.
So about a month.
Mm-hmm.
A little less, but about a month.
Yeah, let's see here. And this is not outside of North America. The thing is that's the important thing you have to say about here. They're facing further delays outside of North America. Only in North America is it released on the 17th now.
Right.
That's a big thing, actually, because, like, you think about it, like, Europe, Asia-Pacific, Latin America, Japan, those are big markets. And they can't sell them in those regions until after there. And these are the only, like, product releases. Let's see here. There was a lot of product delays. Like the Secret Lair Ultimate Edition, which was supposed to be out on the 12th. It's expected within 1 month. They don't tell a date.
Right.
Core Set 2021 bundles The launch date was the 3rd. It's been pushed back. The Planeswalker decks for 2021 and Arena starter kits. And, of course, Jumpstart. I mean, I could have seen this coming when they were, like, saying, like... It sounds like at least the actual core set 2021, which we were complaining about the fact that they were trying to get it out already in a short period of time after Ikoria, which technically I think hurts Ikoria.
Yeah.
They're on track for that, but like all the products around it and a lot of the things connected to it are being delayed.
Because you're cutting its time that it's kind of the star by coming out with another thing. It's like, oh, now we're moving on to the next.
And a core set is never this big a star. What I would have done is I would have cut into part of the core sets, pushed it off so that they each had an equal amount of time. You could have probably done that. Even like half a month. Ugh. You can get things done and don't like ship them out right away. But the thing is, like, the Planeswalker decks aren't coming out. Because these are like product mixes. They're not for core set. Like, there's other stuff that are unaffected as part of the core set.
Right.
But, like, a lot of these products are, like... I'm sorry, like, the core set, the Planeswalker decks have always been, like... They're like your starter decks, you know? Which you don't have anymore with core sets. So that's what they kind of take the place of. They're a cheap way that you can get, like, a copy of a Planeswalker from this set, plus a small deck that would work with that Planeswalker, that you could do it on its own.
Right.
I don't know. I just think with the technical issues that they have for some of these delays, they should have delayed stuff more. They're like, as soon as Ikoria was out, I feel as if they're chugging along at normal pace, or trying to. I don't know.
They're probably trying to get back to normalcy as quick as possible.
Which isn't bad. I mean, I understand because, like, they probably have had, like, a lot of cutoff on how much they can earn. Like, as much as people, like, they don't order online as much. A lot of people go to local games places and you know, get stuff there. So I can understand how, like, not having it is bad. The extra money and stuff, but I don't know. But yeah, Jumpstart looks cool. It's got stuff in it that I definitely think are awesome, like Oracle of Moldai. I'm sorry, I'm looking in here and some of the rare, going back to that, some of the rare and like mythic reprints, they're really good. I'm like, these are good reprints that, you know, I could see being needed. Why are they in your like Jumpstart for, like, you know, simplistic rule sets? And why aren't you reprinting them normally?
I mean, even some of their uncommons, like their Meteor Golem.
Fertilid. I like Fertilid. Granted, like, I don't use it a lot, but it's a creature that comes with 2+1/+1 counters. You can remove them to search for basic land and put it in the battlefield tapped. Hey, guess what? If I'm playing black-green, or any combination of black-green and another color, I can bring back Fertilid and keep getting basic lands. It's a really good land ramp.
Ooh. And they have some dual lands they're coming out with this set. Called their Thriving Lands. Thriving Bluff, Grove, Heath.
Oh, those are very interesting ones, because you choose
Isle,
a color. Yeah.
Yeah, more. So they come into play tapped. You choose a color when they enter the battlefield other than their basic color, and they can tap for either or.
I'm also interested to see that they will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of each basic land, it looks like. Like 8 different artwork. Because normally it's only 4.
Yeah. I mean, I love some of the artwork they're doing, too.
Yeah, some of these are really cool. Like, I'm sorry, I look at, like, the cryptic, like, necromancer hand for a swamp, or, like, the eyeball and the hands coming out of another swamp. Those are pretty awesome.
The plains with the mirrored egg.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool one. Yeah. Puppy!
The mountain with, a demonic head.
Yeah. They're the plains with the puppy. The forest that is tree folk. You know? Things like that. Yeah, they certainly have, like,
Oh, they have a charge counter one too.
Yeah, the Mirrodin's Core. I know that's a reprint, yeah. Terramorphic Expanse is always a classic. Phyrexian Tower...
Buried Ruin? Phyrexian Tower,
It's not bad. It's not great either. Riptide Laboratory, unless you're playing a wizard deck, is not something you'd want to play, but, I mean, there are some good wizard decks out there.
And Rupture Spire.
Rupture Spire is a classic. I love Rupture Spire. Yeah. I use it a lot. It's a great way of getting any color mana. You just have to pay 1 to put it in. It's not your first land you play.
Yeah. Well, if it is, you're really stupid.
Accurate.
Unless you have a way to make a free mana on your first turn before
a ley line. One of the ley lines, which if it starts in your opening hand, it comes into play. You know, one of those. That's the best way to do it.
Unless you're going really old school. What the hell was the card?
Any 0-cost things too.
Yeah, it was a 0-cost tap for a colorless mana.
There's the Moxes. There's also like Lotus Petal. Lotus Petal.
That's what I was thinking.
That taps for any color mana because it's like a lesser black Lotus. But that one wouldn't be too bad. Like if you get a Lotus Petal and got it out to Rupture Spire.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed my apple juice now.
But of course, that'd be a really weird thing to be playing with a Lotus Petal in a newer deck.
Accurate. So, even with all the weird delays and weird things going on, I'm happy to see Jumpstart. I'm gonna be interested to see how they play the entire thing, because again, it's a very heavy reprint deck, and it's got a lot of good reprints in it. It's also got a couple of interesting new cards. Only a few, but they seem interesting. And good on them for at least putting a little bit of sprinkling of like something unique in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's Magic for us right now. Wizards is an interesting place with Magic, and part of me is like, I don't know how to think about it. Oh god, I just noticed something as I was going to the top of this screen here just to get rid of it. The Unicorn, that's the legendary that they're introducing, it's a new one. It does the weird exile phasing thing that then comes back that a lot of blue decks had. I like that ability.
We haven't seen that in forever.
I think the Innistrad deck sets did a lot, because I had an Innistrad deck that actually specialized in doing that, because it had comes into play effects. So you're just like, oh, I'm exiling my thing, and it comes back into play, comes into play effect again.
Okay, it's not a common one anymore.
No,
what I'm saying.
They don't do it as much. But I'm saying that that's the last time I remember it. The original.
Oh, there is a Mythic in white.
That's the Unicorn.
No, there's another one. Malacus the Lunark. Mikeaeus.
Did they change him to Michaelis the Lunark? Did they change him to Mythic?
Yeah.
They did. Was he always a Mythic? He might.
I don't know.
And Limvala was. I just didn't register that they were. Because Micaeus, I have in my white deck. Because he enters the battlefield with a bunch of +1/+1 counters, and you can just remove them to make all your other stuff bigger. And you can just tap him to put more counters on him, or tap, remove one, and all your other creatures get bigger. That's why Micaeus is very good. I like because also in the Innistrad block that originally came from, there was an undead version of him that was really good, and I actually have him too. That's in my Zobala deck. Because I think he gives zombies unearth or something.
Yeah, I think that has to be Mythic. Because otherwise, if it was just rare, you could have 4 of them in your deck.
Well, he's legendary too.
Yeah, it's true. He's legendary. It has to be legendary. Because otherwise you'd have 4 of them in your deck and just I tap 1 to give everything.
You can still have 4 of them in your deck if you go for what I have in my legendary deck, Mirror Gallery, where the legend rule doesn't apply.
Oh, God, that's...
If you go a Mirror Gallery legendary deck, it's gross. Because then you could be like, I have multiples of these legends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see the Keeper of Silence. That's Mythic.
Is it? Is that under blue?
No, white. Linvala.
Oh, Linvala, yeah,
Keeper
Linvala.
Vala, yeah.
Keeper Linvala, I remember playing here and there. I don't remember if I had one, but I remember playing against it. It's like active ability of creatures of your opponents can't be used. It's a shutdown, but it's like one of those shutdowns that I'm like, I understand why it's mythic, but there are other things that could shut you down that are probably rare from older stuff. It's a specific shutdown.
Yeah, but older stuff didn't have mythic.
No, it didn't.
So that's that's where you get the difference of, hey, I think stuff probably would have been mythic if they had that.
I think I can pretty much say it seems like they have a pretty balanced set of stuff. They don't have anything that's particularly like super ridiculous, and I think maybe that's what we can kind of say about it. Like occasionally, like in a set, you can get stuff that's like, ugh, that's insane. Why did they print that? You know, and oftentimes those things get banned or restricted in various formats because they're like, oh, why did we print this? Because they oftentimes only think of their one set that they're working on and not the entire set of Magic as a whole because it's really hard to do that. But anyway, so core set, Jumpstart, they're both coming out. Let's move on before we get too like distracted by talking about it because there's a lot of cool stuff, and I'm actually much more interested in freaking Jumpstart than I thought I'd be. Alright, let's talk about a little Munchkin. It's been a while since we've talked about Munchkin, mainly because I think, wasn't it last week that we actually mentioned that like Steve Jackson Games just hadn't done anything that like stood out as very interesting and or infuriating?
Yeah,
I think it was. And I think because there's two products coming out, I thought this is a good week to talk about it. So the first one is Munchkin Tails. For the furry in you. I'm joking. So it is anthropomorphic animals, though. You know, and it's... You can fight... You bring them to your dungeon. So it's anthropomorphic backstabbing fun. You fight off human rights activists, the robot vacuum, or the animal control enforcer. You can use a flail tail, cone of... Oh, it's like an animal code, a cone of defiance. Oh my god, that's very silly. So it's coming out this month, June 2020, so it's coming out soon. It's not officially... It's sort of officially out, I don't know. It might be in stores, it might not be. It's the traditional Munchkin price, $25. They don't show a lot of other stuff other than the box. But it looks like from the box there are mouses, horses, maybe that's a fox or something, and maybe a dog for characters on here.
Yeah, there's a horse. It's either a fox or a cat. A mouse. I guess that's a dog.
Yeah. I don't know. That's the problem, is like they've thrown it out there.
I think that's interesting considering, like...
Okay. They say, like, see, Munchkin has gone to the dogs, plus foxes, mice, and ponies. So they're a floof.
Okay. Because I was just looking also, they have Munchkin and Mazes coming out in August. And they actually show more cards on that than they do with this one. That's why I was just like,
Yeah. So those are the ones that we know about, and they might be introducing more stuff later on. Because, yes, they've got more products coming out eventually, and they might do more in this line. It's a different kind of line, but, you know, it's like one of those ones that I can say, like, I'm not 100% against, because it's like, you know, yes, you've got, like, your more cartoonish things that it could be based on, but also there is plenty of things, like, I can come to mind. The Disney's Robin Hood, where they were all, like, animals.
I think it's one of the best Robin Hoods.
Exactly! It's a really good Robin Hood! The fact that they're all animals doesn't take away from it.
No.
And
that damn song gets stuck in my head.
Yeah. Granted, this is a little bit more of like a silly version of Munchkin, because it is like, you're all animal people and stuff like that, anthropomorphic animals. But I don't think it's a problem. I think it's a route that they haven't really explored, and for once they've came up with an idea that's like, okay, you sold it to me, I'd buy that Munchkin, if I've been buying Munchkins anytime soon.
Yeah.
I haven't bought a Munchkin in years. I got you started on it now.
Stuck in my head again.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't help that they used that for the hamster dance thing back in the day.
Mm-hmm. It's silly and wonderful. See? Blaze has Odelay.
Well, that looks interesting. I mean, I love a good Munchkin.
Yeah. We've been very much more...
I also took a peek at the Munchkin and Mazes that are coming out in August, which they're doing a lot of revamp cards for and some new ones. Because some of it's almost like a base set, because it's pretty much goes back to like D&D.
Yeah.
You know, Munchkin was based off of.
With cards inspired by popular role-playing games ever, latest live stream crazes, gaming hobby, and even Munchkin itself. Yeah, so it's being self-referential to itself, and that's silly.
Yes, but like Dragon Bjorn. Where, you know, it's a guy who has baby Bjorn on the front of him.
It has the dire gazebo.
Yes. It also has Dorcas. Who's a level 18 undead.
Yeah. It's like Orcus, only dorkier.
And he's wearing a tutu.
They almost have your spores. They have Spider Snake.
They have Spider Snake. And a staff of injection. Or infection, I'm sorry.
Yeah. With the wheeled shield. Use your special dice to go up a level where it's got like a 21 taped onto it. I really like that they have a dire gazebo. That's funny. It's a gazebo, except it's dire. So, I mean, hey, they probably have one. Lightning, they probably have one. I'll just leave that to everybody's imagination who's not here live with us. So yeah, Munchkin's doing some interesting stuff, actually. So hey. But we will be talking about a little bit more Munchkin a little later, because that's going to be a little bit more on the side of our good friends USAopoly. I don't know if they're really our good friends. Did we talk to them? Probably not. But anyway. But for now, why don't we move on and continue to talk about some of the other stuff that's coming out with a board game based on a video game that hasn't been out that long. This is the thing I'm actually kind of like impressed with this entire thing is Frostpunk, I think, came out either, was it this year or was it late last year?
I've never actually heard of it.
It's an interesting game that's kind of like steampunk survival. It's set in like a future where like it's like an ice age or something. I don't know the exact story behind it, but a bunch of people from London wander north to try to find basically these steam hubs which were built. The steam hubs, as long as they're alive, they produce heat. They keep your people alive, so you have to build up a civilization around them. And it's basically like you're dealing with freezing cold. So it's like a survival colony builder dealing with cold. I've never played it. I saw a playthrough of it. It was very interesting. You're effectively ruling the last city on Earth. But anyway, it's a game. You have builders, explorers, scientists, lawmakers, tyrant that you kind of be. The pieces, like, there's demands that your citizens will have, which you can call ripples. I guess, I don't know if it's multiplayer. It's coming to Kickstarter this year. Like, there's a lot of details about the game which aren't revealed, is the only thing about it. Like, even by the box itself. Oh, we can almost see the side. Let me see if I can read this closely on the side. It looks like it might be for multiple players. Let me try to Google it. A Frostpunk board game, because maybe Board Game Geek has a little bit of something on it, even though it's not out yet. Sometimes they do.
It looks like it says 1 to 4 players. No. It's hard to tell trying to zoom in on the box. It's 14 plus.
Yeah. I'm not getting a very good zoom in on the box is the only thing.
Yeah, me either.
I'm trying to like read up, like see if anybody like had an article about it that like says something. Yeah, there's a Frostpunk board game announced. They're not saying much about it. I think it's so new. Maybe they don't have a lot about it. So I'm very curious about the game itself. I really am. Unless we would watch through the video clip, which I haven't. Maybe they mention how many players it can be for. And are you working together? Are you fighting each other? Like, I don't know. I think for this type of game, it probably would be like cooperative. This feels like the kind of game, because it is like a more survival-y thing, that you are working cooperatively. It might not be. I don't know. It's interesting that the game is a very good game and has some good recognition, but it's a little fast. Unless someone came up with a really cool idea very quickly, that's the only way I can think of like it stands out as we have it this quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was early access last year is when the Frostpunk the original came out. It might not even be out of early access. Is the thing too. Okay, it was released on Microsoft Windows in April of 2018, so it actually is a lot older than I thought. On PlayStation, Xbox in last year. So it was kind of like around, but I didn't see it until last year. Is I think when I saw it. Okay. So, I learned that. It's older than I thought. It's still not that old. I don't know. Maybe that's old enough for a board game. Maybe not. But, like, the board games to video games kind of connection has been kind of weird lately. There's been a lot of, like, board games not only based on, like, basing on TVs and movies and like, books and stuff. Okay, but based on video games, it's kind of like, they're similar types of mediums, and you're trying to mimic a medium. It's sort of like TV shows to movies, movies to TV shows. They sometimes don't work, because they're similar types of mediums that, like, when you're trying to interpret them, it requires something different. I think this is a similar thing, that it can be done. Maybe this is the one to do it in. But, you know, is it good that they're having so many? I don't know. Like, for the trend of it. The video game to board game market. Like, the board game to video game works mostly because it's just like a playable board game that you can do either against a computer or online with people. That tends to be what it is. Maybe with some extras added in. That's not bad.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a Kickstarter, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to be a Kickstarter this fall, so we might not get more information on it until the Kickstart.
Mm-hmm.
Because I even tried to quickly skim through the video.
Yeah.
And it didn't tell you anything about players or anything.
Well, it's interesting that it's out there. We'll have to pay attention to it, see what happens with it, see how it evolves. If it is an interesting thing. This is one of them that I see and I'm like, this could work. I think this is one of the video games it could work for. But let's move on to our next topic, which was a board game that we have played, and you know what? I've enjoyed playing. I've also hated playing it, but that's no fault of my own. Thanks, Lee. Alliance. I think I talked about it on the show, that when he formed the most self-destructive alliance in history, and caused himself to lose, but caused everybody else to lose at the same time. Alliances in a game where you're meant to screw each other over.
Yeah, well...
It's Sheriff of Nottingham. It's the second edition. It's the same as the first edition. Everybody takes turns as being the sheriff. Everybody else, when someone is the sheriff, everybody else is a merchant. You're trying to smuggle in goods. It's as simple as that. You got the little bags there. You throw some cards in there. You say, I'm transporting 4 apples. You have to say all the same type. Granted, you could be transporting 0 apples and 4 of completely different things. Or you could have a couple of apples. And then you have to try to get it past the sheriff and basically either lie to them or tell them the truth and see if they would, you want to bribe them kind of thing, all that kind of stuff. Because there's bribes and promises and stuff like that can get you to ship your stuff in, which may or may not be the actual goods you need. Or contraband. Illegal stuff. So they're saying they cleaned it up for easy play. It includes some of the popular expansions, like letting up to 6 players play, and having a black market, which I don't think I've ever played with the black market expansion. Okay, the black market expansion, the players can sneak high-priced illicit goods past the sheriff or their deputies. Big rewards are in store. They're more dangerous than your average contraband, though. So that's the big things. Is like, if you're doing the 6-player update, there are some people that will act as deputies during that time too. So that's kind of interesting. That you don't if you're doing the high enough players, it adds like a deputy mechanic too.
It's going to be released next Friday.
That's kind of cool. I like how that's the good thing about this as a 2nd edition. I can say they're adding in expansions and stuff. So it's more than just cleaning up the rules, doing an update to things, just kind of like a facelift. They're actually adding in stuff that makes it worth your while. If you didn't get any of the expansions, or you didn't have this game before, maybe getting a copy of it might be a thing. Or if a friend of yours has it, you might want to buy it, be like, this is the updated.
Yeah, I wonder what the price point's going to be.
Let me see here. They say box contents, expansion, artwork, related news.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the...
I see 60-minute playtime. That's about right. 6 players, 14 plus.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the actual price point.
Let me check out Sheriff Nottingham under Board Game Geek to see what the original cost.
Because I'm wondering if it's going to be more or if it'll be relatively the same, since they have the expansions included.
Usually, when they do a 2nd edition, it tends to be the same. I think the game was around $40 or $50. It was. Because didn't a friend of ours get it?
Yes. Sindar the Great.
Yeah. Yeah, she had it. I don't remember the actual price point. The thing is, it's expensive now because it's been out of print, it looks like. It looks like you can get it for $70 on Amazon right now, under Arcane Wonders, and some places up to $119. So, yeah.
Board Game Geek doesn't have
an actual price. Well, if it's out of print, they might not.
Well, no, I meant for the 2nd edition.
Yeah. So yeah, it looks like it's good to have because it's an out-of-print game. It'll probably drop the price.
I found a site that has pre-orders for it, $31.99
for pre-order. Is that the full? But is that the full price, or is that just
the full price? Is normally $39.99.
So $40.
Yeah.
Again,
so I'm assuming, that's.
That might not be the standard price, though. That might be that place could offer it normally for that, and it's doing a special pre-order deal for even cheaper.
Yeah.
Because it's considering, most companies, when they put up the... Magic, they don't have an MSRP now, but they put up their MSRP. It's effectively what they do, and they sell it on their sites. That doesn't tell you what they actually sell it to other, companies and stuff, too, so they could sell it for less profit.
Oh, Amazon's listing it for $40.
So I'm saying probably around 40.
2nd edition.
Yeah, I'd say 40. 40 seems accurate.
So, $39.99, $40, same.
Yeah,
pretty much.
It's $40.
Price.
I always round up that 1 penny, even though that penny does technically not exist, because it's a trick to make it feel better about it, and they constantly do it in marketing. It's a marketing ploy that never has gone away.
With gas.
Yeah.
The 9/10.
It's so dumb. Just round it up a cent.
But so that's you're getting all the expansions in for...
Well, 2 of them. I don't know how many there were.
Yeah. You're getting 2 of the expansions at least, which you're saving money, definitely.
Mm-hmm. And little updates to the rules.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's good. 2nd edition is coming out. Keep an eye out for it. It's nice. It's a game that, again, for the most part, I have enjoyed. Except when League goes, God damn it, I will remember that alliance. That's like a Telltale game. I will remember that. Uh-huh. Anyway, let's talk Munchkin again, because another company that does work with Steve Jackson Games is putting out another version of Munchkin that is definitely a little bit more branded. Is that popping up correctly? No, it's not.
Munchkin Disney.
Yes, Munchkin Disney. For all your Munchkin and Disneying needs. There we go. Got to pop up. Stupid thing. So, I guess this is to be for, like, your animated and fantasy film enthusiastic. Be a hero, villain, or princess. I'm curious as to, like, how branded it is. Like, it looks like they've got...
It's very branded.
Mm-hmm. So you can be a villain or like a hero slash heroine. Heroine.
Yeah. Heroine, yeah.
Let's see here. Like I see a couple of like the things you can fight: Ursula, Jafar.
They're both level 16.
You can get an ally of like Elsa, Maui's Hook, the Magic Carpet for a lot of stuff. It's very Disney branded.
Yes.
So if you are a big fan of Disney, I don't think it's bad. Is it the best Munchkin? It's still for 10 plus. That's the problem with Munchkins. They're always still 10 plus.
Yeah, but I mean, there's plenty of adult Disney fans too.
That's true.
I mean, I've seen most Disney movies. I like Disney product for the most part.
I've seen a bunch. I definitely feel like they are fine on the up and up. A mixed bag otherwise. I mean, this is definitely geared towards like your Disney fans. I would say, because it's a looser theme than a lot of the other ones. Like when you look at some of these themes, it makes a lot of sense for Munchkins. Even if we talk about because they did the DuckTales one, I can defend that because it's specific. I know, it's specific. And it's also like an adventure-based cartoon. The idea of adventure is in there. So exploring, gaining treasure makes sense. You know, this is just general Disney product. So, like, I think I understand why, because USAopoly has, like, the good, like, movie licenses and stuff, and has been working with Steve Jackson Games. It's like, hey, let's do this. But how good is it going to be? This is one of those ones that I sit back and I'm like, I don't know. I might try it, but buy it? I'm sorry.
My fiance probably would be much more
Yes.
open to playing this,
Yes.
so that might be one I buy because of her.
Yeah, like the DuckTales one, I'd probably buy that one. The furry Munchkin that we talked about earlier, Tails, I'd buy that one probably. It seems interesting enough. This one, I just feel like it might be a little bit of too scatterbrained on its own. Munchkin normally is scatterbrained when you add a lot of them together, but you're making that choice. It's not scatterbrained on its own. When I combine like 4 sets of Munchkin, I make it scatterbrained. I have chosen to make it scatterbrained. That has been my choice. This... Yeah, but I like. Are you? There's some parts to it that might be interesting. I definitely would want to actually see and like maybe play through it at least once to get an idea of how good or bad it is before I make a final decision, though. Because there's a lot we don't know about it. It just, again, like, I'm suspect on it. So, I mean, if you're a really big Disney fan, I think this would be probably for you. It's on brand. It's Disney. It has all the original Disney artwork for a lot of things. It's got like a lot of interesting looks for the cards and stuff. I mean, it definitely has a very interesting style to it for its own for being Disney Munchkin, and I think it's a good style. So that I'll definitely put forth there. So. But yeah, Disney Munchkin. Up to you how much you like it or not. Again, like if you can go ever try it out before you buy it. That's my recommendation for a lot of Munchkins, especially if it doesn't grab you in right away, because there's so many of them. Find the Munchkin you like, and then buy it. There's too many to purchase all of them, unless you are wealthy.
Got to catch them all.
God. I tried to at one point in time. I have a lot of Munchkins. It's just I had to stop because I put out too much stuff.
Yeah.
When they put out the individual packs of like small, like almost like collectible card packs, but except they were like Munchkin ones, that killed it for me because you couldn't keep up with those.
Yeah, true.
So, but why don't we move on from our topics of the week though to our regular segments in our docket that we usually have, and we can start with, we do not have a deeper discussion. Again, like, it's been a lot of quarantine, and even if you're kind of out of quarantine now, it's not really, like, encouraged to, like, hang out and travel too much. And with Joe moving and, like, you know, trying to figure out, like, you know, eventually maybe we'll get back to hanging out, and then me and Blaze will just hang out at Blaze's place, because it's kind of in the middle of where he's going to be living and I'm living right now. Yeah. Like, right now, his place is kind of in the middle. It'll be a longer drive for me. It's fine. I can sacrifice my, like, 25 minute drive to a, like, 40 minute drive. Yes, we get to talk about Kickstarter Korner first. Then we'll get to our week in tabletop, where Lightning can kind of fall upon his sword of Pathfinder character creation. Do you have a Kickstarter?
I have a quick shout out.
I unfortunately, with my schedule this morning, I didn't find one.
I think it's something we had mentioned, I think, last week, but...
Maybe.
Boss Monster Overlord is on Kickstarter.
I don't think we mentioned it. I don't think we did.
So I might go a little more in depth on it then.
Yeah, I don't remember mentioning it.
Yeah, Boss Monster has made a new game called Overlord. Sweet. It's 19 days to go. They have almost 2,800 backers. The original goal was 35,000. They've blown that out of the water. They're at 139,000. And it's 1 to 4 players, 8 and up, 20 to 30 minutes. So you're actually an Overlord boss. Your goal is to build the map with the highest power players, take turns drafting tiles, and the game ends when every player's map is complete. At that time, you'll tally up the score and determine a winner. So you're building terrains in your area. You're recruiting monsters to each terrain. You're trying to conquer the overworld. As you fill the map, use portals to move your monsters and mini-bosses. Collect crystals to multiply your power with the smart placement and clever combos. You can build truly powerful map. At the end of the game, the player with the highest score is crowned Overlord. So the game is $40 for just the base game. Then it goes up to the Tower Edition for $55, and then they have the retailer package. So they've unlocked a lot of the stretch goals. The next one's going to be command cards. They have unlocked solar mode, volcano tiles, more boss cards, desert tiles, and a backer's bag. Let's see. The other ones that they haven't gotten to was summoning circles, expanded illustrations, and cloud islands. So it looks like an interesting take on the boss monster. It plays completely differently.
I mean, they have an interesting add-on too, because like they're saying like because of the nature of Overlord, they're not putting any add-ons any big add-ons on that one. But what they're doing is, if you want to have an add-on into it, you can get the Vault of Villains for normal boss monster early at 20% the retail price. That's going to be out in fall. So, yeah. That's actually not bad for 20% off if you add it on to your right now. It's a little cheaper.
Yeah. But it's a completely different way of playing boss monster, so that's really interesting.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I hope they get more of their stretch goals and it continues to expand. But otherwise, game's always been nice. We've had them on the show before,
Yeah, and their ultimate stretch goal. Well, let's see, the next one's 140,000. I don't know how much the other ones go up to because
they've got summoning circles, expanded illustrations, and cloud islands as a type of terrain.
But they're less. They're almost about $600 away from the next stretch.
The command cards, yeah. So they probably will hit a couple more of these, so it's cool.
Yeah. I mean, everyone knows Boss Monster.
Most people.
And for them to be doing a different take on it and not just more expansions, that's really interesting.
I mean, I always like their more expansions because it adds a lot of... It's an easy one to expand upon, it's like more types of tiles, more bosses kind of things. They've added some good rules, like magic items and stuff like that, So they've done a lot with their expansions, which they probably still could. But yeah, something new in the vein of it is a good idea, definitely.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, to see with how this goes and how that plays, and maybe eventually there'll be some kind of carryover where you're having Overlord with people going through.
All right.
So, you'll see.
Yep. Shall we move on then from our Kickstarter Korner, as we just had that one to talk about, which was a good one to talk about. I mean, again, since we haven't... all on me, I have to start chatting with people again, again online. I really do. And we could have had Brother Wise on to talk about this, unfortunately. Missed that opportunity. That's my bad.
You can try to reach out to them this week and see if they're available next weekend.
I really should just try to reach out to a lot of people. But yes. Yeah. But anyway, our week in tabletop. Let's start with you want to start with the streamy stuff, and then we can move on to the non-streamy stuff, I guess?
Sure.
So we started with Grinding Gears.
Yeah. So our adventurers finally found the turtle in its breeding grounds.
Uh-huh.
They have landed. They fought a very interesting monster called a songfish, and completely, lightning fireball, and that and stunning fist completely ruined its day.
Mm-hmm.
And brought back memories of people that had been erased from the timeline. Because that's what the songfish does to people.
You get me one-on-one with a monster, along with Lightning, Syndra, and we will murder it.
Note to self, send 20 songfish at you.
That will murder us. Just send 2 of something at us, and we'll probably be in trouble.
Yes, I know. I'm joking.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have... you found out you have a child.
Yeah.
That you had forgotten about that was attacked by the songfish.
I assumed I had some form of family. I didn't know children per se. I assumed I had some kind of family, and I assumed they were all dead. Hey, guess what? One's alive, but for different reasons. But my memory is awful anyway to forget it.
Well, you don't know 100% if the child is still alive or not. Nope. They could have died. It's just you had forgotten completely about them for a different reason.
Yeah. There's a lot of awful
So-
forgetfulness.
Yes, but you had some interesting existential crisis going on for a little bit.
And Roomby's really bad at helping with that.
Yes. Well, he's not exactly the emotional support type.
No.
But
Yep.
yeah, and we left off that you are going to explore some more of the turtle, possibly go check out the mining operations.
Stuff to do.
Yep.
Stuff to do on a turtle. Missed both of my Tuesday games. Ended up that Jess had a death in her family and had to cancel. Though Worm would have missed Legacies anyway. If you missed last night when we were doing Raft, I think you popped in. Where Worm said that he had actually an appointment during Legacies that they never called him. It was supposed to be like a call interview. Yep, so that was great. But we have Children of Wrath, and you got to the next town.
Yes.
And you got taken for a trial, which may involve trials.
It does involve trials. We already did some of the trials.
Yes, it's true. So, good times. You're trying to prove to a church that you're not people that that should be purified from the world. Look, angels are just extreme and very protective of the people that are under them. It just kind of makes them out to be dicks.
Yes. Especially the shield, whatever the shield.
The one in charge?
Yeah.
Well, the one in charge, is a little bit of cautious, I think is the word.
I want to clip her rings.
I mean, she's like a solar, so she just murder you.
I said I want to. I didn't say I was going to.
Your existence, just squish. Just squish. But, the good times.
Fuck her like a chicken.
You're passing through the tests well.
Well, none of us are really evil.
Technically.
We may be, morally dubious at times.
But not really evil. Just have no morals.
No, we have some morals. They're just not always balanced with society's morals.
Ooh. Well,
I've grown past having morals, and I don't really. And my character's like, if I don't pass the tests, I don't pass the tests. As much as I have embraced the fact that I am what I am, if I die, I die.
Carrion has always just been I do things to make me forget the horribleness of my existence. So,
Yes.
it's a lot of, the, dubious stuff is really to forget. And then, Wintress, anything that she's caused, any kind of, massive amounts of city fires, was to try to do the right thing-ish? Would she believe the right thing? She's just sort of that lovable, innocent idiot.
Yeah. I mean, for me and Max, we've just been around so long, morals are kind of meh.
Kaz was a goblin. That's it. He actually acts like a goblin.
Kaz is Kaz.
Yeah. Kaz is a traditional goblin. Goblins have their own weird moral compass, which is very different than the rest of society. But a lot of goblins die because of their moral compass. Very often. So, That's why people don't usually mind, because goblins tend to kill themselves before they blow up other people.
What if you blow up
I mean, he technically has. He just has not blown himself up enough he couldn't survive.
True.
The detonations of Kazaran can be listed. It can be a story. The great detonations of Kazaran. And lo, did Kaz blow up. And lo, did he live that day, having been blown up. And
having been blown up.
Alright, anyway.
Oh, God.
Then we had some off-stream stuff.
Yep, we had the Pathfinder game I'm in.
The second edition one.
Yep.
You explored.
Yeah, we explored some more tunnels. We found a ever-flowing fountain of sacramental wine.
So just bad wine. Cheap wine.
Yes. In a crypt.
Mm-hmm.
Which is odd.
It's not a place for executions.
Yeah, and a haunt.
Mm-hmm.
And one of us experienced the haunt.
Mm-hmm.
We found a bottomless pit.
Technically not bottomless.
Okay, it has a bottom. It's just very deep.
Mm-hmm.
It's more than 120 feet at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just a bunch of random places. Nothing that was huge.
Yep. Plenty
Oh, and some bodies.
Mm-hmm. Plenty of corpses.
That we identified. And I insisted on sticking the names on their coffins.
You did a good thing.
So they can be identified, in the future. And then, oh yeah, where we ended. Because the party didn't listen to the one person who was trying to not defile things.
Like, it's fine to take a look in there, and, like, I'm trying to instill, like, there's not really an easy place to hide if there's something in the coffin, unless it's a hidden compartment in the coffin, in which you can just kind of look around for. But they're like, let's fish around in here with a floating corpse.
Yeah, there was a coffin with a salty, mummified corpse, and you're like, oh, we're gonna, reach around in there and try to poke around with a sword to find something. I'm like, can we not defile the bodies, please? I'm not up for this kind of thing. Just like anytime we found treasure, I was like, yeah, we're not taking that. We're not stealing from the dead. It's not right.
I mean, you totally did take from that bag that's technically not part of the dead, but, like, you took all the stuff in there.
But even that, I was still objecting a little on that even. So, I've been kind of the moral compass, and no one listened to me. And now, the beginning of next game, we're going to be fighting some...
Aquamummy. Aquamummy.
Aquaman's mummy?
Yes.
Oh, God.
It's got super strength, and it can summon fish on you. There's undead fish. like ghost fish come out of nowhere and attack you. Ghost fish.
Everyone, we need some really hot light and some sand. Dry this mofo out. It doesn't like being dry.
I don't know. You have to deal with those ghost fish. Oh no, it's a ghost baleen whale. How does it fit in here? Ah, it's a ghost.
But yeah, so maybe they'll start listening to me after this and not keep poking around in every coffin we find.
No, they're gonna poke around. But we also
have Derpy down here.
No, we don't have Derpy. But we did also have normal Pathfinder that I ran on Wednesday. The first session of it, I'm doing Carrion Crown again. It was a little rough just because it's hard to remember certain rules in Pathfinder, and a little way
Especially now that you've been doing Pathfinder 2.0
and 5th edition, and are quite different. There are similarities, but it's like a lot of the little details that how to get right. We almost had the group pissing off the townsfolk 3 seconds into it. There was a little bit of time travel because totally someone wouldn't have been murdered technically. I went with the basic monster rules of normally when you down it, you kill it. But technically, since they're not really enemies, they were just, aggressive NPCs that didn't like what you were doing. You technically don't kill them outright. I have to remember things like that. Unless you tell me you do. Then you murder them. I mean, technically speaking, if there hadn't been time travel, one of the people, if they'd gotten an attack in, they totally would have, like, beheaded, like just torn apart one of the people instantaneously. I don't think they'll mess with you again, no. Not unless they get more of an angry mob on you. Like another, like, couple dozen people. And run you out of town with pitchforks and torches. But, yeah, they've been, they're about to go get drunk at the Laughing Demon. And if you remember the Laughing Demon at all, with the interestingly named food, they get to encounter that.
Oh, God.
Yeah, don't say anything.
Yeah.
Don't say anything. They all encounter it.
That's what I just finally hit me because I'm like, I don't remember. I'm like, oh.
Oh, and yeah, Lightning has a character that can't speak common.
What?
He's technically from, like, he's a kitsune, so he's from this world's Asia, so he speaks the common language of there. And Elven and Sylvan. So people can speak with him, because there's one character that knows Sylvan, and three characters that know Elven. But when anybody's normally speaking to him, doesn't understand a thing. The problem was, for a while there, the emotionalist android was being the translator for the kitsune.
I have a question. Does Lightning have a whip?
No.
Damn.
He's in a swimsuit.
He might have been able to trade it in to speak English.
No, he is in a swimsuit and high heels.
Why is there a cat in a swimsuit?
No. He looks like a normal human most of the time because he's a kitsune, because they can appear as human or fox people. But he also has the ability to change into a small fox. But he's got like a large overcoat with a swimsuit under it and high heels.
Why?
Because I don't know.
Are you trying to win the Miss America pageant?
Miss Ustalov pageant. Miss Ustalov, who is the least haunted of us all. There's also a witch, a half-elf witch, a tiefling ranger, a human gunslinger who's like the most normal, but is also like a small girl, like a 19-year-old girl with a gun. Carpe's in it, and he's playing like a tiny fey race that can fly. That's kind of interesting. Oh, small fey race. They're kind of neat. And he's playing a bard. And then you've got Umber, who is the android Magus, who doesn't understand humans very well, or human society. Yes, and Carpe's got a wonderful voice he uses for it. He's got like that tiny midget voice, the kind of like this voice that does it all the time for it. I mean, it is a one-piece swimsuit at least.
But it wouldn't keep you dry.
No, and I told him it was probably like 1930s swimsuit, so it's kind of like, that kind of swimsuit. So it's like the striped ones that kind of goes to your your
unless
legs.
he has a wetsuit would keep you dry.
It keeps you dry in the text.
Oh god, a wetsuit with high heel flippers.
It doesn't work. Why would that even think about work? The +1 swim, it's never gonna come up unless you specifically choose to go for a swim. Oh god. It's so never going to come up in that game. You're the farthest from water right now. They might come near water. They could. If we play long enough. Not right now. So we'll see how that goes. We're at least playing through Carrying Crown. I don't know about any of the other ones. That's what I have to say about that. We'll see how well the team stays together, doesn't murder each other, and doesn't utterly fall apart under the insanity of their own characters. Yup. But anyway, I think that was our week in tabletop. Because, yes. Is that the diving suit?
Well, a diving suit or a wetsuit. Wetsuit
Yeah, there isn't like a wetsuit. There's a diving suit under the equipment, and I was looking it up
Okay,
now.
diving suit would work, because that diving suit would keep you dry.
Well, they actually have a diving suit. And I'm wondering if that's what he got then, because I can't see what it would be called otherwise, unless it's got it somewhere in here and I'm missing it. I might be. They got like an interesting list here. Because is it actually called a swimsuit, Lightning? Swimsuit outfit.
It might be in like one of the specialty books. Because there's a lot of specialty books.
Yeah, it's true. Anyway, I'll take a look here, see if I can find it. Anyway, so let's move on from our regular segments to our next regular segment. I mean, which is
Ask the table.
See, my brain was like just freaking broken today. I was gonna I'm gonna have to put docket in. Yeah, God. Consult the table. Hey, if you got a question related to tabletop nerdy stuff, anything like that you want to throw into chat right now, go ahead. We'll answer it to the best of our abilities, etc., etc. If you have other places you want to throw it into, there's discussingtabletop@yahoo.com. We will talk about that at some point in time, maybe. Is that like a new release or is it an old release? Carbon 2185.
No, do you know what? I think you're right. He has a diving suit because it's a one-piece suit of clothing, reduces the drag in water, making swimming easier, giving you a +1 circumstance bonus to swim checks.
So it's less sexy than we always thought. It's just anyway, doesn't matter. Regardless. Where else to message us? My Discord, you can link down below. You can either put it directly in the Discord. It's a 5e Cyberpunk. Gotcha. Neat. You can directly message us through there to Joe or myself. You have Twitter, @Dracovin for me, @JWSeeker81 for Joe. You can message us directly, just add us, or message us in the messenger there. Either or are good options to reach us. Or if you are here in the Twitch chat, you can throw it in live, or in the comments of the YouTube channel. My brain is already breaking and it's not been that long into the show. It's like just bad. But yeah, those are the places to reach us. So, hey, I think that's the end of the show.
Yes.
Thank you once again, Joe, for joining me as usual.
Of course. And thanks for Lightning for being part of the Peanut Gallery.
Yeah. And of course, Blaze for briefly being part of the Peanut Gallery early on. He might still be in the Peanut Gallery, just not saying anything.
Just be pretending to be a peanut.
Yeah, it's a one-piece bodysuit. So it's like you have a diving suit on, so you look like you're going scuba diving constantly with a coat and high heels. I think that's worse.
It also mentions now damage to the suit, such as several rounds of combat against slashing and piercing attacks, negates the suit's bonus until it's repaired.
I mean, Lightning doesn't really get into combat.
Also, the suit has to be worn on the outside of all clothing, and when swimming,
I'm pretty sure it's just skin tight. I'm pretty sure it's just skin tight, and there's nothing else under it. The coat comes off, and it's just the diving suit. So, we should be here next week, same time, same place. We should be here tomorrow, both of us, and Lightning, who's been in chat, for Grinding Gears. That's Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're looking for more tabletop-related content, there's, of course, the other 3 games, which you should be throughout the week on stream here on this channel at 10 a.m. on Tuesday, 2 p.m. on Tuesday, and 8 p.m. on Thursday. Those are 2 D&D games, D&D Lawful Evil, Modern Day Faerun for the 10 a.m., that's Records of Evil, Vampire the Masquerade for the 2 p.m., that's that's Legacies of Kain, that's a Vampire the Masquerade game, and, of course, Children of Wrath on Thursday at 8 p.m., and that's a D&D game in a Magic the Gathering world. So, yep. lots of options out there, lots of adventures out there. I hope everybody is having a great day, a great Saturday, having a great weekend, staying safe, staying healthy, staying sane in everything that's going on out there. I hope, your June has been going well. I hope that, we find ourselves out and about a little bit more as times to come. And if you are feeling young and healthy and spry, and you don't have anybody you're living with that would be sickly, old, or weak, get out there. Love your life. Come on. It's a good time to be out there. Unlike my family, I can't get out there and love my life because I have 2 people in my family that are, probably would not be good against the virus. So I have to stay back. But live your lives for me! For me! Ah. Anyway, I hope your Saturday is great, and we'll see you next time. Farewell. Goodbye. Auf Wiedersehen.
Oh, God.
And it's other Sound of Music stuff.